All right, we're gonna go ahead. Now we'll go ahead and call this regularly scheduled meeting to order. The Commissioners Court, there is a quorum present. Go ahead and have a prayer.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the privilege of life, for the privilege to serve the citizens of this county. Father, I ask that you grant this court, this judge, wisdom and clarity, understanding, discernment, and that, Lord, all that's done and said would be good for the people that they serve and the county, and also would bring glory and honor to you and to this state. We pray these things in the wonderful name of Jesus, and everyone said,
Amen.
Amen.
Pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor and protect this flag, but allegiance to the Texas, on the state under God, one and indivisible.
How was your week?
Well, it's good. It was good. We had a lot of delay on a few things. We got all the blades out. Laying roads and filling the top. Shredding and we're trying to catch up on there. That's a never ending battle. We try to, I think this next budget cycle, we try to add shredding.
Richard?
That is, you're done? It's same thing, Holland Rock, a week ago Friday, we had the little storm. We were out to about midnight Friday night, getting trees out of the road, and that was not a whole lot of fun, because, you know, get the roads opened up, so we're back to Holland Rock, trying to fix the roads and people back up. Trying to do a little shredding as we go. Staying busy.
Is that on your end?
Same thing, and little storm cost about midnight, cleaning up trees, getting the roads open, and we're fixing a few washes and things like that, hadn't started shredding yet. Other than that, about the same thing.
I ditto for us also. So,
Everybody doing the same thing?
yeah.
This Tanner? Anything to say?
What's good until somebody did.
Philip, anything?
Yeah, we had a pretty good break, well, I'd say a breakthrough. We finally got an issue resolved late yesterday with regards to the new Dell NDTs. This is about the sheriff's office. And it's about a GPS issue, but working with Dell and Motorola together, we finally got the issue resolved. GPS is working natively internal inside the unit without having to add anything on the outside. And yeah, that was it was
Awesome.
It was a win yesterday.
Good. Susan?
I'm just trying to wrap up the last little bit to get to the auditors for our 24 audit and. That's really been our main goal. We were trying to get our county auditor report ready for y'all today, but it's ran into a glitch and it'll have to be the next court. So, anyway, make it milestones.
Very good. Sure.
Everything's good, Judge, kind of hired some folks and the jail count's down a little bit, so that's good.
Oh, good.
Means the courts are working good, and let's keep that going.
Constable?
All I gotta say is last week's been fun, exciting to work with people that hadn't worked with in a while. We did a trash bill Saturday. Took the reins on it and said, hey, let's go ahead and do it. Commissioner was there, and it was a good turnout, good morning. And then yesterday, getting to see agencies work together that I hadn't seen meshed together in a long time. So that was best outcome yesterday we could ask for the situation. It was a good day, but bad in sequence of events there. Other than that, just trying to find people and find people.
Just account payables, payrolls, and for budget since they, while we were asking questions about their budget already. We, as you know, at the end of May, we'll produce better numbers for the budget book. And we'll start with you know. But it's, it's small. It doesn't.
This busy with budget, yeah. Mr. Hall?
Vicki and I are hoping to finally finish our Boston County jury trial Friday. That has been continued 3 times now because the defendant keeps having medical episodes
What's the meeting?
on the day of trial.
We've never heard of that happening before. As far as my office, I have to give a report because last time you guys didn't like it, I didn't. But I actually have something to report this time, so. Obviously, I was in Lubbock all week last week, which is a long ways away. I don't know why anybody lives there, but especially when you have a great place like Hilton. But Lubbock was good, learned a lot, came back, and as Constable Gersh was mentioning yesterday, they had a bomb threat at the elementary school. And the teachers and principals, the superintendent were absolutely amazing. It was really cool to watch those people and how talented they are with 600 elementary school kids in one in-camera building. So that was inspiring to watch. And we took a little bit of notes. It went really well, but we did take some notes that we can improve upon and how the county can help them moving forward. And it's little stuff, so. Besides that, that's what's going on, so far. So we'll go ahead and move to open forum. Do we have anybody here from? Anybody online or anybody registered online to do open forum? No. All right. We'll move on to the consent. Action on minutes, invoice and payroll, revenue disbursement, and any training certificates.
Make a motion to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Yeah. Oh, ambulance. While those are going around, we'll go ahead and move to number 1, discuss and or action on employee wage status change. We have approval of voice employee wage status changes. We have new hires. John Harris, Robert Bryant. And then we have evening, McLaren, Mr. McLaren, Atchison, Mitchell, Beckerath, Sexton, made changes with the Christopher Jackson. And Hannah White, Rachel Calvert, Kathy Moore. Welcome.
Make a motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Okay.
Opposed? Discuss interaction on certification of revenue. Certification. of revenue. Certification. Pronouncing all of that. Ms. Susan? Sure.
Good morning. It was just
as we get new revenue that we didn't have at the beginning of the year or didn't anticipate, we can certify that and then put it into the expenditures. So first of all, we had some TAC insurance reimbursements of 5,026 that we're certifying. And we have a budget amendment for that. Then for precinct 1, they had some road donations, a couple of courts back for HCR 1207. So we're certifying those, and we have a amendment to put those in his construction line. Precinct 2, Cadets had a big sale, $71,745, and he had requested his be budgeted to capital outlay. And then finally, precinct 3 had another auction item of 27,000 on his, I think, case roller that I'm certifying the revenue on those so that they can be budgeted.
Make a motion approved.
Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. All right, and the next one is budget amendments.
So going right along on the TAC insurance, we're certifying that to insurance proceeds and putting those in the repair line for the vehicle that was damaged in SRO. Then on precinct 1, Road and Bridge, the contributions of 11,150, we're budgeting those to construction materials. I do have a typo at the bottom of that. It says RB2, but I have the RB1 account numbers. Excuse me for that. Okay, precinct 2. I don't know. I have another typo, darn it. Precinct 2, sale of fixed assets, we're putting that into the revenue, 71,745. And then under expenditures, I created a new EB, so it should be Road and Bridge.
Thank you.
I'm not sure what the E was for. I don't know.
Something else to keep up.
Something else to keep up with. So we're putting that into capital outlay per Commissioner Crumpton's request, and precinct 3, sale of fixed assets.
You got my page right.
I did.
Thank you.
Yay. Into capital outlay, 26,200, the bulk of it, and a little bit into miscellaneous, 450, and training and mileage, 350. And then we have a budget amendment for at the end of March, we encumbered some funds to last year's budget. And so IT had an outstanding invoice where we were converting the on-base to file bound. And so we had encumbered some money on that, $7,438. So now we're budgeting into the 25 year because that's where the money was spent. And then the Motorola project, we were encumbering that to the prior year, and same for that. So we're increasing the contingency. So we have a little bit of contingency money back to work with. That leaves us 150,000 in contingency. So we might need it. So that's a good. And then the final budget amendment was Larry had asked for moving some money for his FM lateral to move 135,000 out of capital outlay into construction materials. And those are the budget amendments.
Make a motion approved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? And
I will say we're starting to get some insurance or notifications. I don't know that we've actually gotten the money, but from the storm, the sheriff had a number of vehicles that held damage. So we're starting to get notification on those. And I didn't know, do y'all have any damage on yours?
Can we collect on trees?
Wish we could. Yeah, for sure. That's all.
they are coming to look at our buildings to access to. For insurance. Um. Number 4, we're not doing correcting Susan, it's county audit report, next time. So number 5, observe and or record the county's GSB valuation of law. 4.
And that's something I did. I wasn't sure if y'all had that before, it's just something that's required to be on our audit. To say the value of what providing employee health insurance, that's a liability on our financial statements because we're giving it to the people at a little bit of a discount. I don't really think it adds up to that as much as they say it does, but they're the actuaries and they get paid to do that. So we put the number on our financial statements. So it's just a part of our deal. A lot of our work is just getting numbers to the auditor so we can have our financial report presented the way they want it to be. So
Make most of them report.
All in favor?
Uh,
All opposed? Motion carries. Observe the board has had a suggest board treasurer's report. You'll see that in your packet. I don't think we have anyone here to speak on it. So do we have a motion to observe and report? Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? All right, number 7, accept and or action on film fireworks for Memorial Day holiday. Do I have anybody to speak on that today? This was requested by the member of the public, obviously that was going to wanting to sell fireworks. I have nothing on it either way. If nobody's here to argue their case one way or the other, then I get back. Opposed to that?
Well, I think what I saw, she sent a letter that, you know, if the weather was a problem or some sort, they would not. You know, they would reserve that fact that.
I'll say right now, our KPI is only 57. So everything is still very light.
All right.
Second.
Is that okay? All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right. All right, we'll go into a public hearing on no through truck traffic on County Road 2134. We've been carrying this one for a minute.
It's been published in the paper.
Has it? It was published last time. It was published by the prior to this actually, but we didn't get it on that public hearing. That was messed up.
It's been in the report.
Correct. So do we have any public to discuss that today?
Only once, twice.
All right. So no public comment on truck traffic on 2134. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing and discuss and or action on that.
Like a motion, for truck traffic on 2130.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. All right, next is discuss or action to approve the service agreement between Hill County and Silogist Government Inc. I know I didn't pronounce it right. Close. So this was actually put on by me. This is one of the things I did put on the agenda personally. It's directed from the Attorney General's office. If anybody's aware, the state of Texas uses Vine to track and report different offenders, whether they're in prison or upon release. They're switching to a different company, different software, and they're telling us we have to do it. So I don't see any cost to the county that I can tell. They're just asking that we go along with this legal. So. Make a motion. Make a motion to approve the service agreement between Hill County and. Those guys.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Does it say in the service agreement if they're gonna provide the server or? We had different checklists that we would check and monitor to see if the Vine system was working. For the grant, the way that grant works is we pay the provider, it used to be a free, or then it went to people back, but now I guess it's gonna be zoologist and then the state reimburses us exactly, so we have zero expense. The only expense would be whatever equipment we have to put the software on to maintain and I don't know.
It doesn't say anything about about hardware.
Yeah, we currently don't have any audit in any of our buildings related to the budget. From our Odyssey program, we run a report and then we output that report, we upload that report to the Vine system. And then they make their notifications from there, but we don't have anything internally that we have.
Okay.
So it's more like a cloud type.
Yes, sir.
Gonna make it simple for me.
So we'll probably just have to start sending our report to this new system once we.
Yes, sir. And this was very rushed. The letter that came from the Attorney General's office made it very clear that they're sorry, but we need this done by May 16th. And so.
That's all right, you office.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's. Basically, I guess you made the motion already. Only one of us has to sign it, so. Second, you vote? Yeah. Second. Your second, we discussed it already. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, discussion and or action regarding the expired lease between Hill County U.S. Corps of Engineers for Chisholm Trail Park at the Lake Whitney project. Do I have anybody to speak on that today? Yep. Come on up, if you don't mind. Yep. Let me know your name.
My name is Taylor Justice. I'm now the president of Chisholm Trail area of the community down there that we take care of it.
Okay.
When I took over, so I've been over there for I've lived there for 9 years. I actually bought my side by side from you when we got down there. But we use that to help clean up the park, try to have the events. We did 20 loads of gravel. And when I've been in, we haven't had a lease agreement. I've called Corps of Engineer and asked them. He said, I can't even talk to you. You know, that's the county. And I said, well, can we do this? He said, you got to have a lease agreement, do all that. So we just went on the previous paperwork we've had, which we've got stuff from 83 when we were trying to do tax exempt nonprofit organization stuff. But go through there and they said, fix the pavilions, fix the picnic tables where the river has washed it out. So we brought the dirt and gravel in and done that. 20 loads of gravel. We've gone through the roads. I mean, nobody's living down there no more. We have people living down there. So we've tried to clean it up the best we can, mowing, weeding, have events. We just had 800 eggs put out for the kids, Easter egg hunt, raising money down there. Somebody checks a guard check every day. I put a lot of my time and money into it as well. I own my own business, so I take my skid steer down there and I've done a lot of dirt work and fixing the horseshoe pits, but we haven't done any new build or anything. So the Corps of Engineer doesn't say anything of us doing a new build without getting it approved. Yeah. And we've got a strong community there. Now that I've been on for the president there, I've got everybody in the community behind me pretty much and a good team together. So we'd like to keep it open and keep it going, but we'd like to have a lease agreement for sure.
The Corps was supposed to be represented here today. Here.
And there, I've been there and looked at what Taylor is saying. And, you know, I think, Taylor, we probably need to get some more information from the Corps of Engineers. I went back and I found some of the old write-ups where we were out of compliance with the lease. And some things that need to be upgraded. You guys have done some of those, but I think before the county can take that liability on. We need to know what it is that we're taking on. I'm a proponent for keeping it open, and, if there's a way we can work on it, I think before we make a decision, we get the Corps to go out, audit it again, give us, their upgrades are, to state park standards, and that's not what is happening out there.
I do think that if we were to keep this park open by us leasing it. Because the Corps intends to shut it down if we don't lease, is the way it sounds to me. That traditionally, the maintenance of this park was out of precinct one's budget. I don't think that was proper. I think that if we were to keep it open, we would need to budget that separately. If we were going to do maintenance or upgrades or anything like that, I would think that properly it would be, do you agree with Susan? That it should have its own budget, we can put a line in the general road.
You know, we got something for sale block museum
Right.
and everything.
So,
sure.
I don't think it would be proper to take it out of his budget. I don't, this is my 2 cents, but, I agree.
What we've done in the past is the county has leased it from the Corps, and then we sublease it to the association.
Yeah, and that's been subways in place since 2007.
It's been a while.
It's a great park, I don't know.
And we've cleaned it up a lot. It was
It's a
before,
great location, it's a fun place, it's the only place on the Hill County side that can get that far up the river. You know, it's,
the boat ramp never shuts down unless
Boat
it's
ramp
flooded.
always open. Yes.
And we just put a pole, we did do something, so I just put a pole there and we put a light up right there for people at the boat.
Awesome.
And new signs up, no parking.
They put posts in, boat ramps, and we got video cameras. So if anybody sneaks past the honor box at the guard shack, they've got a license plate. And talked to the vice president yesterday while I was at there.
Yeah.
And he said that if they get one phone call, and if they come to the park again, and call the police and file no trespassing.
And we've already done that 6, 7, 8 people already.
And there's not anybody looking out there, that like before, it was crack red goats.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like that anymore.
And the only problem is right before you got brought in, me and Brian Good had met with Judge Lewis. And we looked and tried to find a lease agreement somewhere with county and us, and we couldn't find nothing. And we still have yet to have anything. So we didn't know if we could get with the Corps and be like, hey, what exactly does this agreement need to be? What does it entail? And
Well, the way that works is we have to enter into a lease agreement with them. They have to approve the sublease with you. So we would have to submit them a form, sublease, they have to approve it. And before they approve it, all those upgrades probably have to be made, but we need to.
I'd like to see.
Visit the Corps.
Yeah, I'd like to, we're gonna have to have some more discussion, I think, what I'd recommend is not taking any action on this today. Have a meeting with the Corps, between the council, maybe commissioner and myself, and maybe we can bring you guys in.
Yeah.
And, see if we can't hash it out.
okay,
So,
Yeah, I think our desire, we can speak for all of us, commissioners, but my desire is to keep it open. If there's a way to economically do. Right,
and really, if we could just get help with the road. That's the only thing that I would say, if we could get the county to help. Other than that, we pay the insurance on it, we pay for the trash service that goes on. The events that we do have been getting better and better, so we're getting a lot of donations to help out with the park. Lights, electric, maybe water later on, but we're dealing with Crestwater over there too. And they're a pain in the butt right now. They're all the way in Keene. They're telling us, hey, we don't even know if this water salvageable to drink, but here you go.
Is that you consider it a day park? There,
There's about 15 campsites. They do have picnic tables, but we have no water and electric. So people have to bring their own generator, or when they bring a camper, it's already got water in there.
well, my recommendation is we don't take action today, and we'll set up a meeting with the Corps. They didn't tell me they were gonna be here today.
sounds like a plan.
All
And
right.
I appreciate you coming today.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right. So that's no action. We're gonna discuss and or action on Walking Creek watershed plan agreement number 8. The watershed agreement, this was sent to us by the Tawakoni Creek Watershed Board. Yes. It seems like this is something that we do
Every year.
every year, so. We have a motion to approve,
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
What was the house to the king? It's like, you know, she is, picks up the land share that.
Correct. Correct.
And the sponsors are the landowners. Okay.
Yes, sir. They're actually, they have to sign off on this as well.
Cause they gotta do, they gotta do it.
Yes, sir. Nope, I believe we do, the way that it's been explained, to me, I don't know. So every water district that touches this, they also have to approve this as well. Clinton County, Hill County, Blackman Soil, Water Conservation, Limestone.
So they're in the state.
Correct. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right. Discuss and/or action appointing Kim Stevens as Director, Heart of Texas Housing Finance Corporation. This came to me from our Texas Housing Finance Corporation. Basically, the McLennan County City of Waco has asked us to appoint this person. Their person that they appoint to this board has retired, and this is the person that they're wanting to put forward. It's kind of one of those deals. This is a recommendation for the position. We don't really have any stake in it, but we have to approve it. And then we want to put somebody on there. It's kind of the same way. We make a recommendation and they approve it. So,
Do we have anybody?
No,
no, sir.
it's largely driven by the city of Waco. We do have a little bit of stake in it, and they, because they manage our section 8 housing here, but they did buy our private building down there on Franklin Street, so let's make them happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make a motion approved.
Second, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Discuss under action, renewing the MOU with Texas DPS regarding Texas statewide interoperability channel plan.
Real simple, it's just a renewal, so it gives us the ability to talk on statewide interoperability channels, and more importantly, it's required for any state grant.
I'll make a motion approved.
Second. We got one or two, whichever. All in favor? Say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Is there something to sign on that?
You should have a one pager that has their.
Discussing our action contract with Hill County ESD 1 for radio services.
This is just a clerical cleanup, so this actually went through court like 2 years ago, I can't find it, and the clerk's office couldn't find it. Don't know, so Greg's already just re-signed it for us, and it's just from what they've already been using for 2 years.
Make a motion approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion. Discuss interaction on contract for PLO XP for the constables, all precincts.
Commissioner Judge, myself, Kevin Cordell, Larry Armstrong, and Kyle Neville, we all sat down and discussed. TLO is a database to look up people. What we're running into is this county has grown substantially. The roots aren't here that used to be. Used to, if I was looking for somebody, I could talk to their brother, their cousin, somebody down the road that knows them. We're past that now. Neighbors don't know neighbors anymore. TLO is a great resource. It's used by law enforcement agencies across the nation. Fortunately for us, we work well enough together that the four of us can manage the one plan and be able to split the cost amongst the four constables instead of being hit with, $150+ each month per constable. TLO has offered us on the contract 150 searches, $130. We split that up, turns up about $39 a month. Just talking with Rachel and I can't say her last name, but Stephanie is her first name from TLO. Talking with them, we can bill quarterly. We all have enough in our budget to cover it. Essentially, it's just another tool in the toolbox to try to find people to get proper service so that courts can continue to move on just like they should.
I just have curiosity, how much is it a quarter?
Court will be just a hair under $100 per constable. So you're looking at $400.
This is drastically lower than other.
We were using Accurate. Accurate kind of went away. Not went away, period, but went away for us for a while because we weren't getting accurate information, which is odd that their name was Accurate.
Well, it started off.
Yeah, it was great for a little bit, but we talked about TLO back in 2019, I believe. Had a trial period, but because Accurate was currently being used in the county, we didn't want to have multiple accounts with the same vendor, same type of vendor. And so we didn't do anything then, and now we're just getting to the problem of finding people. Kevin's already used it to get a phone number off of the guy and sitting there at the office, just learning it, playing with it, trying to figure out how it works to see if it was something he was interested in. I included Rachel in all the conversations with TLO, so she has all the paperwork necessary already to go with the contract. I just asking for court's approval for the contract.
It's a great tool. It's very simple to use, actually. They said, hey, well, you're doing this on yourself to see what it shows you information wise, the detail of it. And I found out that there's a guy in the Cal Text who used my social security number. But yeah. Was he a better person? I'm sorry, was he a better person? I'm still in her city. Anyway, I was kind of amazed at how detailed and how accurate the information was, because it went back to when, I was 18 years old. And so it gave me stuff up to current. Had good phone numbers for me, all my previous addresses, vehicles that I've purchased since I was 18 years old. All that information was in there, so it's the accuracy of it was, I was kind of amazed. Where do they get all this? Of course, I know the state sells the information, right? And everybody does, but I mean, I think it's a lot better tool with more accurate information than our accurate program that we're using.
Make a motion approved.
So,
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carried. All right, let's go to and/or action on hotel rate over $214 for a CCO conference. I believe this was obviously our hotel rate is $214. This is for PD House to go to the conference. It's $259 per night. As we all know, hotels are expensive, especially when they have them in nice locations. I think the way to avoid it, but. Motions, second, all in favor, say aye. All opposed. So discuss and/or action on 2025 investment committee policy.
We are a little behind since we are in May. So we did have.
So I'm inside baseball. I've had people contact me about not being able
To hear, and I speak low to begin with.
Yeah. So.
What? So we had our investment meeting last week, and we are a little behind schedule just due to some other events that were going on with our investments that Miss Susan was trying to get caught up on for our investment reports. And we proposed that this be accepted as our 2025 investment policy. There were no changes to the policy from a prior year. The only thing different is we appointed you as our member. I know, I'm sorry.
Make most approved.
Same thing as last year. The only thing different is Shane instead of Judge Lewis. That's it.
Motion and second? Oh, okay. Yes, all in favor? All opposed, motion carried. Then next is 2026 workers' compensation, discuss any action.
We are not taking any action on that today. We'll bring that back to you next session.
Right, discussing our action on TCDRS rate for 2026.
So they proposed the rates that are in front of you in your packet. We are down just a very minuscule amount from last year's rates. It has a negative impact on our budget slightly. And it still leaves us funded at a little over 92%.
Questions?
Make most approved.
Motion.
They,
And second, discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed.
So what is the rate?
10.39.
For the.
That's the combined rate.
Discuss interaction on monthly bank balances for April 2025.
So in your packet, you have our true and accurate numbers for our beginning and ending balances for the month of April.
Question?
motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Carried. What?
Yes, thank you, Nicole.
Hey, you can't tell me what's fun. Next is discussing our requesting proposal for Amco to go out for bid on group medical, dental, vision, basic life, and AD&E, voluntary life, short-term disability, long-term disability, critical illness, accident, cancer, hospital, emergency, whole life. Coverage.
So Eco has been our broker for several years. We do not need to do the group medical. They did a 2-year bid, so we're going to continue on with curative. We do need to go out for bid for the rest of the ancillary services.
So I'll make a motion to do so.
Second, discussion, all in favor, say aye. All opposed. Carried.
Thank you.
Next is discussion regarding the salary survey by public sector personnel services. Anybody here to speak on this? Oh, come on now.
I'll call her.
Yes.
So what we have is a second draft that I emailed out yesterday to everybody. There are some slight differences from draft 1 to draft 2 based on some feedback. I do feel that there is still some disparity in certain departments that need to be addressed by those elected officials. I do not want to step on toes, so I'll let them address the court. But I feel this company did a better job than the prior company. Yes, very much so. They did ask a lot of questions. They asked for all of our job descriptions. They would come back and ask for more information if they didn't understand something. Like I said, there's still a few areas where I believe there is disparity, but I will let post elected officials discuss that with you.
Has everybody had a chance to review that? The most recent.
Most elected officials here.
Yes.
Judge Commissioners. After reviewing the survey, we found that there were some good areas in it for our office. We did find some things that need to be addressed, which we're prepared to do. With y'all's blessing, I'd like to have my chief deputy come up here and explain all that. We've been going through it pretty hard and heavy.
As he said, we thought the study overall wasn't terrible. Typically in my past, what I've seen with these companies that do salary studies, they don't always have a firm grasp of organizational hierarchy when it comes to a law enforcement or a paramilitary organization, if that makes sense. So obviously with rank and file, the deputy positions that are there, they already have allocated pay increases, you know, for like a step 1 through a step 4. While those positions don't necessarily come with any added responsibility, they assist with retaining employees. That seems to be the norm these days in law enforcement. Every agency, not every agency, but the vast majority of them anyway, that have a salary schedule where you can get a salary increase annually. You know, you at least have something to look forward to. You don't just get hired in at this $1 an hour rate and this is what you make for the next 30, 40 years until you're done. So you're basically paying these folks for tenure on these non-ranking positions. When I got into it and actually did the math on the ranking positions that were there from the rank of corporal, which is the lowest rank that you can achieve, all the way up through chief deputy, which is the highest rank you can achieve at the sheriff's office. There's obviously a few steps in between there. When I got to looking at it, I found that the numbers from rank to rank were kind of all over the place. There's really no set percentage number or standard, even from what's in place now as opposed to going forward. For instance, currently, even in the current pay scale, a corporal, which is a ranking position at the sheriff's office, makes less than an investigator, which is a non-ranking position. That doesn't really make much sense to the sheriff and I, why a non-ranking member at the sheriff's office would make more than a ranking member, if that makes sense, especially for the added responsibility. Additionally, when you achieve the rank of sergeant currently, if you promote from the rank of sergeant to lieutenant, there's a 2.4% increase in pay. From lieutenant to captain is 4.87, and from captain to chief it's 4.87. So I'm not sure where those numbers came from. All these numbers were in place whenever the sheriff took office, whenever the new administration came in. So this is what we have to work with currently. We went through the numbers from the first proposal that came out last week, as well as the second proposal that came out just yesterday. We put in some long hours, early morning hours this morning, trying to make sense of this. As it stands with the current proposal, there's now a 7.38% increase in pay from a corporal to a sergeant, a 2.4 from a sergeant to lieutenant, 4.92 from lieutenant to captain, and 4.94 from captain to chief. So those numbers have changed again. There's no real continuity, especially with the amount of added work that comes with each promotion that comes within those. It's a dramatic change. I mean, going from a sergeant to a lieutenant alone is a big deal. A sergeant is typically responsible for 3 to 5 people on any given day, whereas a lieutenant is responsible for probably 5 times that many people, as well as the administrative work that goes on top of that. And for that to be a 2.4% increase, to me, it's completely unacceptable. I'll get to the point where nobody will ever want to promote to lieutenant because of the amount of work that goes with it. You get absolutely nothing financially in return for it. So it's a very stressful job that is on almost little to no financial reward on top of it. We can't offer anyone any more than what we have. So basically my point in saying all this is that we would definitely like for everyone to consider that, I think, going forward. I think that our current salary for our employees is actually non-ranking employees is probably where I think it's really good for Hill County. I think making ourselves more marketable is always great. And the more money that we can offer to prospective employees, the better to attract good candidates. But I think the way that that's set up currently, there's roughly a 5% increase in pay amongst the non-ranking personnel through steps 1 through 4 in the pay scale, which I think is really good personally. The jail, and keep in mind, we have 6 different budgets to look at here that the sheriff is over. The jail rank and file is worse. So the new proposed increases, especially for the ranking positions, to go from corporal to sergeant, there's a 4.95% increase. To go from sergeant to lieutenant, it's a 12.32% increase. And to go from lieutenant to captain is a 17.24% increase under the new proposed numbers that are there. Additionally, under the new proposed numbers, sorry, bear with me just a second here. Under the new proposed numbers, if I did this right, I believe the jail captain would actually make $2,000 to roughly $2,000 a year more than the sworn law enforcement captain over the law enforcement division. So there are obviously several issues here. I don't think that they're anything major. I think it's something through discussion and common sense we can probably figure out pretty easily. But those are the primary issues that we see with the proposal that's there now. Obviously, anybody that achieves a rank or takes on more responsibility, we think needs to be compensated fairly for the additional responsibility they're taking. So, having said that, I think judging by what was in place when the sheriff took office, and this is just my administrative opinion of being the chief deputy at the sheriff's office, the pay scale that was in place before, it's clearly evident to me and the sheriff as well. We've had this discussion. I don't want to speak for him, but in discussions, it's clear that the pay scale and the pay schedule at the sheriff's office was written clearly for a couple of people to maximize the amount of money that they can make. We want to get away from that. We want to make this where this is fair and equitable for everybody across the board, all the employees at the sheriff's office, from the sheriff all the way down to the lowest ranking member, to make it right. I think with having a new salary study done, with everything that's in place now, I think that the county in general, Commissioner's Court, has a really good opportunity here to make something right, and to make it right where it'll carry for years and years in the future. And it's something that can continue on, and we won't have to go through this, hopefully, ever again, because there are obviously some disparities here amongst ranking pay.
Rachel, when this was done, the percentage increase, that's to bring those respective grade job grades up to what the surrounding.
The surrounding, but they also followed Evergreen's structure. They did not adjust our structure. So if you look on the left-hand side with the numbers 105 to 118 under like the sheriff's office, anywhere you see a B, those were positions that were missed by Evergreen, our prior salary survey. So they just hastily put those in there. That's where you're getting the 2.5 percentages that Mr. Westmoreland is talking about. So it was wrong from the get-go last survey. This company followed suit just because that's the structure we have now. So I agree what Chief Westmoreland is saying, that it does need to be restructured.
We're not, with the salary survey, we're not bound to. This is information for us to make decisions with, right? And this is good, solid market information of what's around us. But we don't have to do everything that's in this survey, or we don't have to do it at all. But it is a very good indicator of what's.
Well, it sounds like from what you're saying, the whole structure needs to be revisited. Because of where it was.
That's something that we've already, on our end, we present to you, and it's where you're gonna be able to understand what we're talking about. It's not difficult to understand what Chief's saying from the skill to skill.
I understand what you're saying. Do you have a proposal for us?
It's almost done.
Okay.
We were waiting to get through budget sessions over the summer to present these things. We didn't know if this was going to be the time or place to do any of that stuff, other than a discussion here and now. But we have a proposal that we were going to put forward to the court later on, as far as scale, progression in the scale, recommended, you know, pay increases for tenure, all that other good stuff. We gathered several pay scales from area agencies just to get an idea of what the percentage increases they supply to their employees when you go from corporal to sergeant, sergeant to lieutenant, lieutenant to captain. And they vary anywhere from 6 or 7 to 10% per promotion as you go up the line. So, which I believe, considering everyone's doing that, I think everybody thinks that that's fair and equitable, but just an idea. I mean, obviously, we don't have to go off another county's numbers. I like to be a trailblazer, do things the way we think it needs to be done here in Hill County, set our own path. So we've got the majority of that done. We still have a little bit more research to do, considering that and everything else with the weather and everything last week. What happened yesterday, every day or every week, there's something major that goes on and it just puts us a little bit further behind. So we're working on it, but we'll have a complete proposal ready either way.
I think it's not a difficult concept to understand that. You know, their work is different than y'all's work is different than my work, and the way that we pay that pay scale could be different depending on what your work is.
A lot's going to depend on what evaluation of the tax is going to come out. You know, we're at a 19 million and compared to McLennan County at 97 million.
Well, and I don't think they're talking about paying what they're paying, they're talking about the percentage between those, you know, positions. Yeah, we're still not gonna compete with Dallas PD.
Yes, sir. Just to make that clear, I'm not expecting our employees to make what Collin County or Ellis County, you know, these bigger counties that are paying ridiculous amounts of money, you know, they're people and they can obviously afford it. The actual amount of pay is definitely not what I'm talking about. I'm just basically talking about making it fair. Percentage wise, yeah.
How did the prior regime's breakdown of SB 22 money come out on equipment versus salary?
My understanding was, from what I understand, every bit of it went to salary. I was never told anything otherwise.
It was all salary, the way we did it, and the crazy way they implemented the SB 22 funds, it was all salaries.
Quick question about that. Is that, do you know if that's gonna be that way going forward? I mean.
The county judge submits that, and anyway, the first year was definitely flying that they're playing without wings or parachutes. And
For sure.
so we're hoping year 2, you know, we could use some visits with all interested parties.
Y'all determine how that money gets spent.
Well, we have some mental health issue, SB 22 for the jail too, that we're gonna have a meeting about probably later on this afternoon, but that's a concern. I mean, all mental health is big for me, so I want to be able to provide in that area too.
And I will say that we probably need to get a firm set of numbers in front of everyone before we have our budget hearings to know just the estimated cost. With what's on paper right now, we're at a $1.5 million increase.
But there's a big difference between 1 to 2.5%, and then someone else gets 17%. That seems like a huge gap.
I do agree.
But some got a more of an increase last time than others did. And look like to me, they're kind of balancing that out a little bit.
And back to what Ms. Susan said, if we do not have the budgetary funds, are we just wasting our time?
A 3% raise used to be 270,000, affected our budget 270,000. With the increased salaries, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if that's up to almost 350,000. So we're limited by how much we can raise our taxes, and I don't know. Of course, we have a lot of new constructions and things going on, we just really need to take a look at that. But we couldn't come near $1.5 million in salary increase, I don't think.
And that's not with their structure being out of balance.
Right.
Currently.
I just don't, I don't feel right taking that large amount of raise on my end if my guys in the road don't come anywhere close to being making what they should be making. I mean, to me, that doesn't make sense to me. That's a large jump on my salary, and I could be, yay, but that's not how we're supposed to be working. So, to me, it needs to be fair across the board.
And so, Ms. Rachel, to clarify, basically you're wanting to see some numbers so you can put them in your book. So when we move forward, we have something to look
Right, that's
at.
already done, that would be number.
Okay, that's why you have 1.5.
And then, we would alter it from there. Now, we can make a new one and do just a 3% COLA and scrap this whole thing. It still leaves them with disparity in two other departments the same way.
My fear is we'll get to the point where the rank and file will work at the sheriff's office, or they'll just never want to promote. I'll never have anybody that wants to perform an administrative duty there because it literally doesn't pay them anything to take on a massive headache for an entire division. To be over 20, 30 plus people at a time and make absolutely no additional money than what you were making before. Not gonna happen. Not to compare it to anybody, but a county up north was in this exact same bind about 8 years ago before they finally made the move that we're talking about doing now, and they have been running swimmingly for the last 8 years since they put it into effect. They were sandwiched, they increased the top to a certain point for the sheriff, and it got to the point where everybody else was getting raises, and almost everybody's making the same amount as the sheriff to do all these various jobs. They got to the point where people wouldn't promote, they wouldn't test for that sergeant position, they wouldn't test for that lieutenant position because of why bother. It's a ton of headache for absolutely no financial gain for the employee at the same time. It makes no sense.
And they waited too long to fix the problem too, and it cost them several $1 million at one time instead of making it out.
Well, it affects your retention massively, because you get so far behind, then you got guys moving to your police departments, you can't retain them at your sheriff's office. They move on and to make $20,000-$30,000 more.
Yep.
And you can't. Like, why are you leaving? I mean, it's life changing money.
And also, to add to that, they're not gonna be able to retain their employees. I think the departments do a fair job of retention. You might have a few here and there that just chase dollars, but most of our staff stays. They enjoy their work and they're great at it.
We're trying that, but it only works. It
So-
It doesn't matter how good your leadership is,
Right.
when you're able to carry it out there, when you're talking, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month. Man, that's a house payment for these people.
Yeah, there's a billboard right here that says come work at Irving PD for $110,000 a year.
That's with no rate, that's a.
It's right here today.
Officer, they're paying.
My pay at Brooks at BD, if I was there currently, would be right at $92,000 a year. As an officer.
So,
They're tax base.
yeah,
Sure, but that goes back to if we don't take care of our people to get our retention levels not gonna be here.
If this season saying 1.5 is probably a stretch, that's before we add more personnel. I'm sure you're gonna have people asking for more positions.
that's my concern. It's if you did that, it's 1.5 to start.
So,
Yeah,
supplies are going up, trainings are going up, as you can see, hotels are going up, everything is just increasing. So we really need to sit down and figure out what our path forward looks like to avoid wasting all of our time. It just is not used to be.
Is it too premature to have a sheriff bring that structure up for us to get a look at it? Separate from this, maybe next commissioner's court or whenever you guys can get it ready. And then we can see what their structure looks like, how it'll affect that.
I'd like to break it into two structures, Judge.
Yeah,
LD correction side.
yeah. And that way we can get a feel for what that's gonna look like, if that's something that we can do. Mixed with this, or do a hybrid of this and that, or just give us a little more information to make a decision on. Does that sound agreeable?
Last time we talked about a work session, we could throw that in.
Throw that in there, yeah, cause that didn't make it on here. I know you gentlemen are upset that we didn't get that on this. Yeah, for sure. That's everything.
What are we doing for lunch today?
Oh,
We're
we're fasting. Today is fasting day. Fast. All right.
I'll add to the chief's, argument, and basically, and you can look at IT, it's obviously on a much smaller scale than the sheriff's office, but as far as to the chief's point of percentage wise, if you've got folks that are getting larger percentage increases that are moving up and up closer, and the gap is closing, right? And there's not enough of a gap to make it worthwhile to jump up to the next level. And so I would just try to make the argument that we would, if the commissioner's court would consider just a kind of an even parity in those increases, you know, so someone's not getting 30% and someone's getting 3%, right? Yeah, so I just would like to just kind of support his argument in that, so.
Okay.
You should.
I agree. And I did,
You agree.
we had spoke about IT's budget in particular, because it had some kind of oddities in it. And I think it came down to, they went off Evergreen's work, which kind of misguided some of their stuff. And so there's some straightening up on theirs if we were to just go by that, which we don't have to. Yeah, yeah. It's just like IT, bad data equals bad data. So. I don't know that we have any action. Okay, yeah, just this stuff. Do we have any other discussion? We ready to move on? All right. Discussing or action on mile reimbursement policy and procedures. Rachel?
So it came to my attention a couple weeks ago that this mileage and reimbursement policies and procedures was brought to y'all in 2014, but never had any action. It was in the policies and procedures book that I inherited. I failed to do my due diligence to validate all the data. That is my fault, and I apologize. We have since looked at this with our county attorney and Ms. Susan Swilling, our auditor, and we feel that this is the best policy and procedures to get in place to protect our liability for mileage. It was in our packet I emailed out on Friday or Thursday.
So I'll ask the question that I've been asked.
Mhm.
Why do you need insurance?
Well, because if you get in an accident, who's gonna cover the loss?
If you're not
So-
accountable.
Right, so if you're traveling in your private vehicle and we're paying you mileage and you get in an accident, the county is liable for all charges. So when we talk to David, the best scenario is for them to provide insurance on the vehicle they're driving in. So if you borrow your mom's vehicle, you need to give us her insurance card. And that way the liability is off of the county, it is on the person if they get in an accident.
Good answer. Well, and I guess, that has been in our policy for quite
Yes.
some time and was never included on our document.
Correct.
Since 2014.
Correct.
Been in our policy and we've never done.
Make a motion.
Second. Motion and second discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed.
Thank you.
Carries. Discuss interaction on approval of Gov OS for hotel motel occupancy. GovOS, our contract with them has lapsed.
It will lapse, they're producing until action.
Will lapse. Okay, I thought you were. I don't think.
This is half hour last week. I must start up with stuff. I believe. What for your guys' contract? No, they. I know the court has to approve it, but it went to you as supervisor of the call. Maybe. Did it not go to you? It did go to me, I'm not the one who knew about the coach and program. I'm just trying to make it clear for the management department. It's for them.
Forward to you.
Okay, so
I can say they could go from month to month.
Not gonna lie, yes.
So that was my concern, is there is, with the hotel occupancy tax, obviously, we know there's legislation. Trying to make it through the works, but it is late session, so who knows what will happen to it. I did speak with our MVBA reps. They expressed that they could help us if we were to collect and we had people that weren't paying, that they would do what they do. So that could be a resource for us if we wanted to explore that, because I don't think we're doing that now, if we wanted to keep doing this process. Right now, my recommendation to the court is that we continue on a month-to-month basis with GovOS for the hotel software. Until we figure out A, what the legislature is gonna do, and then B, if we are going to continue collecting this tax. If we are, I'd like to see a direction that we're gonna use those funds in, and it'd be, instead of just taking money and putting it in a bank account.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say, I have run it right now. What we did from October 23 to September 24, we collected 56,500. I don't know where that money go, I have no idea, and as far as managing hotel motel, I collect the money for hotel motel, I'm not sure who exactly manages it. But I do collect for hotel motel and send the treasurer a check. For that, I don't know where it goes after that.
It just sits in our general fund now.
Like all of that money sits in,
It just sits there,
So-
so we use for expensive rent, stuff on that.
that's what I was gonna say. So are the expenses that we pay per year, like 56,000, like how much of that money is actually going towards advertising?
Zero. I mean, maybe $1,000 for THL, maybe a month.
Well, it's
I
really.
thought we were gonna have a
It
discussion
seems like it's.
with the people that do the advertising. Or the different people in, I guess, in the lake, on what they would like to see us do separately or differently. We talked about that last time.
You know, the advertising I'm aware of is a website.
Well, I know, but one of the meetings. I don't know, last time or before, we talked about getting them together to see what they really wanted. The best use for the money, because we can't advertise for the Hillsborough
I think that was
motel
before.
or.
I think that was before, somebody set up an open forum and talked.
Yes.
Yeah, that was before I was here, that's why.
Oh,
Was that person for or against collecting it? Okay. Well, I mean, if the amount that we're collecting of the 56,000, if only $1,000 of it is going to advertising, that didn't make any sense for us to collect it unless.
I'm not a big
We
fan
can-
of taxing folks and then not giving them a return on their investment.
But I think we should get with the people who have the rental places and see what they would like us to do.
Is there a way that we can, okay,
Done that, and I've got about 12 responses,
Okay,
and all of them are wanting to go away with it. So the only reason it hasn't been brought to y'all for discussion and action is because we're waiting on that bill to see where it goes. It's in Ways and Means Committee right now. I don't know how long things stay in that committee.
and I know that that's what I was gonna say. They've brought it up like year after year, but I know there's. Yeah.
So I should bill in October.
But also if it ever does pass, the comptroller will be the one collecting it and they will put it back on everybody anyways.
You know, the original idea was the heads and beds, that was the term used, and I don't know, I mean, I don't know that we're generating any clicks whatsoever.
No, yeah.
I actually had a emergency, EDC, Economic Development Committee. So, EDC director called me and asked, tell me we should get a website. I said, we got one. We can't find it.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Exactly. We spent money on that.
It's not fun. She told me multiple times. I said, no, we have one. I know it. And she was like, oh, you don't. Yes, we
And
do.
Christie and I do a
Well,
plan.
somebody, she's on such a many votes, I have been,
And I divide zero.
You have one.
Yeah.
Oh, Airbnb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Airbnb, they do all my advertising. I don't need any help for West.
What's the rate? What's the rate?
Airbnb collects the site tax and they'll be able to.
Yeah.
20% that we add on top of that for advertising. It doesn't be zero, because I'm on the
So it's 3%.
Well, Chrissy and I do as well, so as Chrissy said, she collects it, I do the back side, and kind of the front side, I have properties that are not paying Chrissy. And try to get them to remit the tax, all I do is just send a letter to the address that the tax assessor have on file. If they respond, they'll start paying, if they don't, I have no legal leg to stand on.
No.
And so all I do is I just spend my wheels filling out these letters with no returns.
Oh, there's no need or any punishment for not paying, yeah.
You get penalty.
Yeah, but it's just a very small amount.
Miss Susan, do you have anything?
Several years ago, I just said that either the problem with the program is that some people collect it and some don't, they're disparate. I just think either we're gonna make everybody collect it, and then the funds need to be used for the purpose they're intended for.
And
It's
not
supposed to
for-
promote their business, you know. It's just that we can't go on how we are, here,
It seems very,
here.
it seems very governmental that we're taxing to pay
A company to put this information in, and
and
yeah,
then we're not doing it. We're taxing to pay a bill.
You
that
know,
we wouldn't have if we
potential
weren't
is we
taxing.
could get all this money, but then we have to decide how to spend the money.
And it's very limited, narrow
And
scope.
it's not to help the county, it's just to help the people. That have the, you know, to promote tourists for their business. If we can't promote tourism for Hillsborough, we have to promote it for the outlying.
in the county.
Those people pay already for their own advertising. So they're not really seeing anything coming from what we're doing other than more money coming out of their pockets.
Yeah, there's a company that they pay, and they have like 3 different websites that they promote that are like bigger, whatever the magazine is, Texas Magazine. Yeah, yes, so they advertise in there, but they pay to this company that I've actually been in contact with. Yes, yes, I really liked her, yeah, but they already advertised for all these people, so this is the advertisement that we're offering them is the website that nobody knows where it's at.
In addition to that.
Yeah.
That's more funds coming out of this budget.
So do you need a motion to abolish the hotel motel?
Well, I don't think.
Well, I think
we
we're
can.
just discussing it, yeah.
Okay, if we do that, that 56,000 or whatever we have sitting in the bank, where's that gonna go?
Oh, I know, this is just what I collected last year.
Well, I understand.
More than that in the bank.
Recommendation is, if y'all want to dissolve the program, just don't take any action on this item. GovOS will turn off their platform. It doesn't mean we're stopping the collection process, we're just not actively collecting. And that was worded from another county, that that's what they did for a while. They didn't change their books to say we're not collecting that 3% tax. They left it there, they're just not actively collecting. If you ever need to at some point in the future, if there's growth, you don't have to go back through the legislature to get it approved. And then we would just need to come back to court and terminate our contracts with THLA, Sherry Cameron for the website, things like that.
I think I would be worried as a business owner that if you told me I'm not actively collecting. That you'd be like, hey, all of a sudden I am, and you go 4 years worth of. Yeah.
Word specifically, they have a verbiage that they adopted for that, just for that protection, so a leader knows. But just so y'all know, if we don't approve this contract month to month, what happens is this website goes blank. How Brenda and Chrissy are collecting the tax ceases because there's no portal for anyone to pay. And we would have to go back to just our old method of checks or money orders. What was the other method? You couldn't take cards, did you?
Yeah.
I mean, they
Well, they
did and pay by card. So yeah, most solutions.
Charging taxes are not doing.
I greatly. So.
I think we should.
Well, we're not,
check
it's not that we're
tonight,
not doing anything with it because we're paying somebody one time a year.
See
for
how
advertising.
we do or what we're gonna do, cause I didn't realize now what we are collecting. Is in their hands, is in the. GovOS hands, so I don't know. The next collection, they pay quarterly. So they pay April. I mean, they collected the tax. Supposedly, the businesses have collected the tax for April and May. I don't know, we need to see what the month-to-month contract is, I would say do that. For this month anyway. You know, do it for a couple of months.
I have a motion to table it to the next.
If we table it, and just let it run out, is that what we're?
That's what'll happen, the 19th it expires.
That's,
And we can, what, Judge, what about the person of the contract to run that? Do they still continue to draw the salary when it runs out?
Well, if we table it, it'll be put on the agenda, to be, we're gonna address the whole issue, not just the summer issue. We'll address the entire tax, because right now we can't really even.
yeah, it's just a
So
safety.
I don't get any extra salary, I just.
No, he's talking about,
Oh, okay.
right?
I thought you were talking about
Yeah,
that.
you're talking about-
Because-
I asking.
Okay, we just do that.
We need to,
You thought about 25.
Okay.
we will discuss all of that.
Was that already paid this year? or no? Did we already pay that? I think, we haven't, okay. We did table it.
Table it again. I got a motion, a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
So what do you need from us when we come back to, what
Yes.
exactly do you need hard numbers of what we pay a year?
Please,
And then what we, versus what we collect?
correct.
Okay.
Is that agreeable?
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm talking all your numbers, not just what you pay. You also pay an employee that has to, like, how many hours does it take? The real effect to our budget.
Yeah.
Is that?
I was like, wait a minute.
They're already meeting on. All right. Next, discussion and interaction on real estate contract county to purchase. ID 112490 from Brendan Thomas.
I forgot to grab the contract, Mr. Thomas, I met with him, he has signed it. It's for $175,000. Just take approval and I'll get it to the top and do that. Get the title work.
This is the property next to the sheriff's office.
I'm making a motion.
second,
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion carries.
David, we might need to get in contact with that payment.
You what?
We're going to get in contact with that payment.
I'm gonna send this one to the Eastern Title.
This one.
Discussion and or action on final plat for CZIR funding subdivision.
What you keep.
We discuss.
yeah, I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a motion, second, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion carries.
Those two.
Discussion and interaction on preliminary plat for Hill County Ranch Estates. Who's this? I don't know.
What's wrong with that?
Judge, on some of these plats, is there any way we can work in as far as they start to come in these subdivisions, either a flush valve or a hydrant? At these locations, as we build their infrastructure coming in from the water department, or whoever's doing construction.
Do our subdivision rule regulations have anything?
That's all we've got to turn around, right, David? For fire flood. Every 10,000 feet, we got the turnaround for fire trucks, we don't have anything for. Fire hydrant or nothing.
No. Even a flush valve, though, they can put in a flush valve, which we can pull water from. I know it's not a requirement, but you know, the chicken farm, I had 5 departments there. And they got locked in for the most part, nobody can leave, even if I bring my big trucks in, 5 departments, that's at least 5 trucks on these country roads. It's not easy coming in and going out, and water is a big issue around here.
Just give it the right size.
I just wonder if, the water system with some of the small water tanks.
So-
Every day, volume that we don't.
So
With the flush valves, so a lot of them, we don't suck from, even the cities or the fire departments know in the cities, which ones they can actually just pull from, or which ones they can actually just turn on, and let it fill up.
So the problem is none of this is on the agenda. So if we would like to have that and maybe amend our subdivision rules and regulations. To include something like that, we need to sit down, have a discussion, put it on the agenda, we'll knock it off. If that's what you guys want to do, it sounds like a very reasonable request to me, and as far as policy. That's true. So,
That's a big deal. So, that's a great idea.
I agree, but. No, I don't think so either, it's something that we should probably. Alright, the ranch estates is where we're at, Hill County Ranch Estates. Preliminary plat.
Been around for a while.
This one,
Yeah. Where's that one going?
Is that Robert John, that is this yours? I don't know.
934, 171.
934 and 171.
Well, no, I've never seen his plan, he talks to me all the time, but I don't know.
That hasn't gone through the,
It's a preliminary.
well, it still would have gone through the,
Review committee.
yeah. It was in that last one.
Yes, I missed.
Oh, we got it.
Oh, it was.
It's because we didn't know, he wasn't late, we didn't know.
But I just haven't seen, we'll have to change it. You have to leave some.
I think there's one jury, and he was looking, but Jesse.
Ms. Brett didn't have any things on this, he
I believe, recommend you approve it.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, motion carries. Yes, yes, ma'am.
We open the discussion up for the, instead of tabling it, and just go ahead and agree to do the month to month, at least for one more month, because the contract expires May the 19th. I forwarded that to you, sorry. Is that good? Can we do that?
Okay. Just one second.
Yeah. You can't tell me what's there.
That was some place for issues.
It's a preliminary.
Preliminary.
And you don't even have to sign the preliminary. It's all right.
Yeah, we would. So revisiting number 26 in reference to GovOS for hotel motel occupancy tax. The tax assessor collector has asked us to approve a month to month for at least 1 month. And we will still have this on the agenda to address the whole matter next month.
And
Make
she
a-
said that she had talked to them and that they just prorated the $24,000 a year, 24,000 and something a year. And it would be $24,016.96. They just divided it by 12, and so it would be that much per month. So, but this expires on May the 19th.
I'd only like to do it for 1 month.
Yeah, no, we said the same thing, yeah.
Read a lot of
panic from the hotelier side, because when they go to that website to pay the tax on its Brenna, it's not going to exist.
Well, plus I would like to still use their website to, if anything, pull all of what we've got. The data from the
We don't need
website
it to
right
go
now.
away.
We don't need it to go away right now, yeah.
So
Later.
I'll make a motion, we extended them.
Welcome, and a second,
Thank you.
all in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Opposed? Motion
Thank you.
carries. Yes, ma'am.
Guess what I saw on 12/12 today? Remotivators.
All right, discussion and or action on preliminary plat for Powell Estates. This also went through the meeting, Mr. Ness looked at it, had no corrections to make on it. Got a motion?
Yeah, look at like. Letter.
On Cobb,
Our home. Prior. On the event, yeah. Mechanism, so. Yeah, he said that all of them.
so it is. Motion.
Yours?
Made a motion.
Oh, second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Discuss and or consideration on action on civil rights policy, post of SUV. Apparently, this has been going on for some time, with the post-oak water. These are documents that, have been needing to be signed for quite some time. And they've been kind of pushed down the road. That's
Like on the admin contract, Mr. Lewis signed the first page, but like there's 15 pages after that, it has to be signed.
so it was originally signed, but not all of it, only one page.
Correct.
And so this is kind of cleaning up a mess that has been pending for
for-
years, yes.
2 years, and we're gonna lose our frontage if it's not taken care
And so the request in this is not only for me to sign the civil rights policy, as you can see, 31, 32, 33 are all pertaining to this. And then 34 is requesting the court to let me just sign these documents as they come available, as long as there is no major changes to the agreements.
of. This money is coming from the county, it's the block grant, the 500,000 that we were awarded through the county to upgrade water lines on our system.
So the money's coming from the state into the county, the
Correct.
county gives it to them. And so we're just the middleman, and apparently we haven't been. Correct.
Make a motion
Second.
for all civil rights policy, the administrative contract, the tribal letters, and your ability to execute them going forward.
31, 32, 33, 34.
Let's go all the way to 39.
All right, so,
Question on 34.
yes, sir.
There's some sort of comment on that.
Can we make amend it to, for this project only? And then
If there's a new project.
if there's a new project has come back before court,
It's only for the one project that was there, off of private road. I don't know if you have all the documents or not.
Yep. That agreement
Yes.
for just this project.
you need to speed it up, our audience is getting kind of thin.
That's why they made the chair so.
Well, then we can vote for it more than that.
Do you have that?
Sure.
All right, I have a motion, and I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 35, discuss and or action setting a public hearing, to close Bob White Drive between Susan Drive and Beatrice.
That's not a road one, and. What part of traffic? Had it been 20 years.
So
Set the public hearing.
next meeting?
Just that, we-
Oh, yeah.
Gotta be posted on the agenda for, each day.
And to clarify, you're gonna post it, correct?
I will post the road.
The road, thank you.
It does not have to be advertised in paper, it just has to be posted in the road and in the deal.
Okay, we will, my office will post it here at the courthouse. Okay. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Discuss indoor action setting a public hearing to install traffic control devices for 35 mph speed limit on Hill County Road 1258.
So that was on the agenda last time, you noticed didn't get posted.
Correct.
Part of it's gonna try to.
After this.
After this.
That's still too fast for that road.
Well.
But we can't go over.
It's time, I can't go.
Okay. That's right next to
Make the motion, we set a public hearing on June 10th. Then here, home installation, traffic control devices. For 35 speed limit on the Hill County Road 1258.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. To clarify, we will. And that again, does have to be in the paper, that does. So we will put in the paper. And we'll post it in.
It's gotta be no more than 30 days from the public hearing date and maybe less than 7 days, so. We should put them in the next two.
All right, next is discuss the interaction setting public hearing to install traffic control license for 35 mph speed limit on Hill County Road 1300.
I'm saying, make a motion, set a public hearing, to install traffic control devices for 35 speed limit on Hill County Road 1300. June 10th.
Second.
I got a motion second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
You might order those 35 mile speed limits, probably does it. I just take it down. Well, you gotta put them up against it. I mean, you might get a dozen of them. That way you have many pairs and all that. Oh, you do? That was all.
38, discuss interaction to declare that live computers, monitors, printers, and other miscellaneous equipment salvage surplus for Hill County IT department. Philip.
No, I'm sorry. It's
okay.
You're up.
You're salvage.
Oh, yes, this is the same thing that we do a couple times a year where we are going through and replacing the outdated computers with newer ones and these proposing that these be declared salvage and that we auction them off through Cadets.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Carries.
Last.
Number 39, discuss the interaction on write-up of obsolete software and replace air conditioning. I don't know, yes.
I put that on there, we just, on depreciation, we had a number of software items that were dated back to the early 2000s, so they're all end of life, and we just have to formally get them off of our fixed assets. And then when McKenna Street went through the jail, we, well, Tammy's coordinated with Philip and also with the jail on items that were, purchased years ago that are no longer, working or we don't have. It's gone, so. Anyway, I'm just making a record of that. We're gonna probably do that on the next court for the Covington Annex. Because before McKinney Street came in and remodeled the whole thing, there's been some air conditioners installed and things that, guess they saw it.
Just clean it up the record, please.
Yeah, just clean up the records.
Got a motion?
Make a motion.
Second. Have a motion, second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
But
Opposed?
I will say on number 38, we didn't put wording to sell the equipment, so we might need to put that on the next agenda to sell the equipment. We just have declared it as that.
Yeah.
You were gonna tell me. I got a new number.
Motion carries, or motion passes for 39.
Make a motion, turn.
Second.